Hey everybody, welcome to another lesson of Learning Japanese ni yokoso. We're here with another video covering a grammar pattern, and today's grammar pattern is going to be using the non-past form of a verb, basically the dictionary form of a verb, plus the phrasing koto wa nai to mean there is no need to do that verb. So this is actually something that we've learned how to say already, I think twice actually. So just saying that there's no need to do something, we've covered that before with the grammar pattern that is hitsuyo ga aru, in which the word hitsuyo translates to need, and then the ga aru is the existential phrasing, so there is a need to do a verb, then you just conjugate that into the negative form basically to say there is no need to do that verb. So that right there is one of the ways to say what we're covering again today. That might be the most formal way to say that, or the most literal translation of there is no need to do something. Another way that you could technically say something along the lines of there's no need to do something is using the te form of the nai form of a verb plus the phrasing e. So something along the lines of shinakute e is going to be it is okay to not do that verb. So that's basically the same thing. You don't have to do that verb. There's no need for you to do that verb. And now with this video, we are going to have a third way to say it, which is a decent amount of ways to say it. But yeah, if you want to have this kind of meaning on lock, then it's good to know all three. The method that we're covering today, basically the dictionary form of a verb plus the phrasing koto wa nai, is actually going to be a pretty common way to say this meaning too, actually. It might be the most common. It fits a lot in casual conversation too. Okay, so one little aside for this grammar pattern is that it actually has one more meaning or another meaning, and that is actually going to be never. And that sounds like a drastic differentiation from there is no need to do, but sometimes this grammar pattern is going to mean never instead of there is no need to do verb. It's going to be never verb. So for example, something along the lines of 彼は私に嘘をつくことはない is going to mean something along the lines of he would never lie to me. And yeah, that's an alternative definition to this grammar pattern, but we're not going to go into it because we're going to kind of stick to one topic with this video. But yeah, it is something worth noting just so that you don't automatically construe this grammar pattern whenever you hear it as meaning just there is no need to verb. It has another definition basically. So like I said, the construction here is going to be dictionary form of a verb plus the phrasing koto wa nai. And so if we kind of want to get a better idea of this and see what it literally translates to in comparison to the other twos that I just mentioned, in which verb plus hitsuyo ga aru is going to literally mean there is a need to do verb, and te form of nai form of verb plus e is going to be it's okay if you don't do verb, then this grammar pattern right here, dictionary form plus the phrasing koto wa nai, is gonna literally kind of translate to there is no thing in which that verb is done, kind of. So we'll see that we have the dictionary form of a verb, then we have the word koto after that, and that's gonna be translating to thing, or turning that verb into a gerund maybe. Then we have the wa nai, and this is gonna be the negative form of the existential phrasing ga aru. So there is no thing, then you have that verb connected to thing, dictionary form of verb plus koto. So it's kind of like explaining right now that the situation, this isn't something to do that verb. So for example, if we have the verb shinpai suru, which means to worry, then shinpai suru koto wa nai is going to be this isn't a thing to worry about. So that kind of naturally turns into there's no need to worry. And with that little mini example, let's go into an actual example using that same verb, shinpai suru. So our first example sentence then is going to be tada no kaze dakara shinpai suru koto wa nai. And what this line here is going to translate to is it's just a cold, or because I just have a cold, or all I have is a cold, so there's no reason to worry, or this isn't something to worry about. That's kind of the more literal translation, I guess, if we're kind of trying to get a feel of what this grammar pattern is in comparison to the other ones that mean the same thing, basically. So let's break down this sentence. First up, we have tada no kaze. The word tada is going to translate to just or only, and then we have the particle no to turn this into a noun of a noun modification. So tada is used with no when it's modifying nouns basically. So tada no kaze, in which kaze means cold. that's going to translate to just a cold. And that's actually going to be our first clause in this sentence because that kind of represents a singular idea by itself. Just a cold. It's just a cold is the implication here. So we're going to end that clause now with the copula da, and then we're going to have the conjunction kara because that means because. So because it's just a cold, now we finish the sentence with the second clause, and we have our grammar pattern coming into effect here. Shinpai suru is going to be the verbal noun. The word shinpai means basically worries, and then we add the regular default verb kind of suru, which means to do. So suru combined with shinpai is going to basically mean to worry, not worry. And that right there is a verb in its dictionary form, so now we can plug in just the phrasing that follows after it, koto wa nai, to mean there's no need to do that verb. So shinpai suru koto wa nai is going to mean there is no need to worry, or if we want to be more literal, I guess, this isn't something to worry about. So once again, repeating the line, tada no kaze dakara shinpai suru koto wa nai. It's just a cold, or I just have a cold, so it's nothing to worry about, or there's no need to worry. Okay, great. So hopefully this is giving a good idea of how this is working so far. Let's jump into some more example sentences. Our next one is going to be jikan wa jubun arun dakara sonna ni isogu koto wa nai yo. Alright, so let's take a look at this line. What it's going to translate to, first of all, is there's still plenty of time left, so there's no need to rush or to hurry. Let's go into it now and break it down. So first up we have jikan, which is just going to be the noun time. So we have time, and then we have the particle wa because we're marking time as the topic now. And then we have the adjective jubun, which is going to mean basically plenty or a lot or enough. So basically jikan wa jubun is going to be there's still plenty of time. Basically time is a plenty, time is still enough, whatever. Or actually it's not going to translate to that just yet because we didn't include the verb that follows after that, which is aru, which is basically just the existential verb. So time is plentiful or whatever. Aru right there is acting as that is right there. We're going to add the little character right after aru to turn it into arun, and this is going to basically just add the nuance of explanation, or you're giving some explanation. After arun, we're going to put the dakara, just like the previous example sentence, because we have the copula da to end the clause, and then we have the kara to serve as the conjunction because, to explain something. And so now that we have our reason, we can just basically state what there is no need to do. And so our verb that we're going to use with this grammar pattern is going to be the verb isogu, which means to basically to hurry or to rush. So that's going to be in its dictionary form. We see that there, and so basically what that means is we can just plug in the phrasing koto wa nai to mean what we want to mean. And so isogu koto wa nai is going to mean there's no need to rush, or this isn't something to rush about or to rush over. Then right after that, we just end the sentence with the sentence ending particle yo to once again kind of add this nuance of explanation. And so the sentence ending particle yo is actually going to be pretty common when you're using this grammar pattern, because when you say there's no need to do something, you usually provide a reason as to why that is, and when you do provide a reason, you're kind of having this kind of explanatory tone to it, so you add the yo sometime. Alright, so we should probably be getting the gist of this grammar pattern by now with these two example sentences. We'll go over one more just to get just to kind of cement the whole idea of it. So our next example sentence, or our last one, is going to be daijoubu dakara anata ga ayamaru koto wa nai yo. And so what this line is going to translate to is basically, I'm okay, so there's no need for you to apologize, or it's not something that you have to apologize over, something along those lines. Let's break the sentence down. Our first clause is just going to be one word this time around. It's just going to be the adjective daijoubu. And this is going to translate to basically okay or alright. So the implication here is, of course, the subject right now is me. So I'm okay, I'm alright. Then we have, once again, that little phrasing, dakara, to end the first clause and be the conjunction because. So we're providing a reason. So my reason right now is I'm okay. And so because I'm okay, there's no need for you to do verb. And so we see here now, right after we move along with the sentence, that the verb we're using is the verb ayamaru, which means to apologize. And here, of course, it's already in its dictionary form, so we can just use this grammar pattern. So ayamaru koto wa nai is going to mean no need to apologize. Once again, we have the yo at the end of the sentence to give that kind of explanation note or whatever. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty simple example sentence. Daijoubu dakara ayamaru koto wa nai. Oh, my bad. I forgot to point out the anata anata ga part. So anata is just going to basically mean you, and the ga right there is going to be marking you as the subject. So anata ga ayamaru koto wa nai is going to be you don't have to apologize, or there's no need for you to apologize. This isn't something for you to apologize about. Something along those lines all kind of mean the same thing basically, and that's what our grammar pattern here is doing. The dictionary form of a verb plus the phrasing koto wa nai to mean no need to do that verb. And so, like I said, it's going to be, I believe, the third grammar pattern that we've covered that essentially means this little idea of no need to do the verb. This is actually going to have a complementary grammar pattern to it in that this is verb plus koto wa nai. There's also the grammar pattern that is the nai form of a verb plus that same phrasing koto wa nai. So it's kind of like nai koto wa nai. And you could consider that the opposite of this grammar pattern, and we'll probably cover it next just because I don't know, we love us some conceptual symmetry, so we'll probably cover that grammar pattern next. Just a little teaser of information right now before we do that next video though. You might be thinking, oh, if that's the opposite of this grammar pattern because it has the extra nai, so it's like the nai form of verb plus koto wa nai instead of the dictionary form of verb plus koto wa nai, so it's basically just another negative to make it the opposite of this grammar pattern. Well, that's not actually the case, because while I did say that this grammar pattern basically naturalizes into there's no need to do that verb, when we took a look at the literal definition, it was more along the lines of there is no thing to do that verb basically, or there's no thing in which that verb is to be done. I don't know, the phrasing's kind of hard, but it's like this is not something to do that verb too, as in there's no need to do that verb. It's hard to explain that little phrasing without an example sentence, but hopefully you got an idea of that with the example sentence that we just did, as in there's no need to apologize. So this isn't something, as in thing as in the koto, to do that verb. This isn't a thing for you to apologize to, or this isn't a thing in which you should be apologizing, kind of. So you might be thinking the opposite of this grammar pattern would be there is a need to do that verb. Well, actually no, it's gonna be basically it's not impossible to do the verb. So you might be going, what? How is it's not impossible to do the verb, or you can do the verb, the opposite of there is no need to do the verb? Well, you'll get an in-depth explanation on that with our next video. I just wanted to point it out right now in case the takeaway that you took away from this video was that the opposite of this grammar pattern is the opposite of there is no need to do, as in there is a need to do, and I didn't want you to go around using the grammar pattern like that, or the opposite of this grammar pattern like that. So yeah, it doesn't mean that, so check out the next video to learn what it actually does mean. And so yeah, this has been another lesson of learning Japanese. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more video lessons, and if you haven't watched previous ones, watch those. Watch whatever, learn Japanese, do you.